Good evening. Tonight we're learning more about the brutal murder of a 10-year-old girl. Thanks for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kadiba Devine. The girl's father and his girlfriend are charged in her death. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono has obtained court hearing records. And Bianca, the details of this case are just horrifying.
It's such a difficult case to report on, frankly. And in a hearing that happened while 10-year-old Rebecca Baptiste was still on life support at Phoenix Children's Hospital, a prosecutor said that her father, Richard Baptiste, admitted to abusing not only Rebecca, but also her two brothers. And we want to warn you, the details in this case are disturbing.
The injuries to the minor child are egregious.
Audio from a July 29th court hearing in Apache County revealing disturbing details about what happened to Rebecca Baptiste. Police found her unresponsive and severely injured on July 27th, and she was ultimately flown to Phoenix Children's Hospital. At the time of this hearing, she was on life support.
She had severe bruising over a majority of her body, especially in the pelvic region. It was incredibly severe, but she also had some markings on her head. And again, she had the subdural hematoma that led to her current state.
Right away, investigators were led to the suspects, Rebecca's father, Richard Baptiste, and his girlfriend, Anicia Woods.
The defendant was interviewed by law enforcement. He was read his Miranda rights. He was interviewed. During the course of that interview, he admitted to beating the minor victim with a belt. He admitted that it was excessive force. Those were his terms that he used.
During the execution of a search warrant, prosecutors say they found the belt he described. They also collected cigarette butts as evidence.
There's additional information, Your Honor, on the victim's body that appears at this point in time to medical staff to potentially be burns, maybe perhaps cigarette burns. Those were also located on the two brothers.
The purpose of this hearing was to appoint Rebecca an emergency guardian. DCS took custody of her two surviving brothers, but the state needed someone appointed for Rebecca's final hours. She tragically died on July 30th.
They had an open DCS case file.
Following Rebecca's death, staff at Empower College Prep, the school she attended until May, said they reported abuse concerns about Rebecca and her siblings at least 12 times to DCS in the past year alone.
Just horror to know that the sweet girl that we knew and loved and saw daily is no longer here, and just great sadness and outrage that this could have been prevented.
As Baptiste and Woods now face first-degree murder charges for Rebecca's death, questions loom large about why these children were in their father's care.
I know they have sent a DCS caseworker to interview the defendant.
And prosecutors made it clear that they have seized numerous items, including cell phones, and additional charges are possible and expected. DCS says they are launching a full review of this case. We're live in studio. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you. Developing tonight, 4 people are dead after a medical transport plane crashed on the Navajo Nation. It happened near the Chinle Airport. The FAA and the NTSB are both sending teams to investigate the crash. The company that owns the plane says that 2 pilots and 2 medical providers were killed. Navajo police said that the plane was arriving in Chinle to pick up a patient. The plane went down while trying to land. In a statement today, the Navajo president said, in part, "I am heartbroken to learn of the tragic plane crash near the Chinle Airport. These were people who were dedicated their lives to saving others, and their loss is felt deeply across the Navajo Nation."
Don't hike the trails. We don't want you out there. That's why we're putting these trail closures in effect, or trail restrictions in effect. It's not safe. You're not going to fare well. Even if you're in the best shape, heat does not care. It will affect everybody.
A strong warning tonight from Phoenix Fire after crews had to rescue a man who went around a barricade, even though the trail was closed today, due to extreme heat, and had to be rescued. Tonight, that man is in critical condition. During extreme heat, the city closes popular trails all over the valley from 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon.
And unfortunately, meteorologist Lindsay Riley is joining us now to talk about these extreme temperatures that not only are not going away, but it's going to get even hotter tomorrow.
It is, yeah. Tomorrow and Thursday, that's when the peak heat moves on in. We are going to not only set daily records, but on Thursday could potentially see the hottest August high that we've ever had in Phoenix. And that's the forecast of 118. Tomorrow we hit 117, Friday 113. That extreme heat warning goes through 8 p.m. on Friday. Now in Phoenix, that's not the only spot we will be setting records. Flagstaff 90 degrees tomorrow. That ties a record. And these are pretty long-standing records, 30 plus 40 years. We'll be within 1 degree out in Payson, so tying a record in Sedona, and 98 degrees as well in Prescott, which ties a record set back in 1995. Here's the extent of that extreme heat warning. So it does include all of western Arizona, south central Arizona through 8 p.m. on Friday. But even as we get into the weekend, there'll be a couple degree relief, but it's not going to be much. Overnight lows stay in the 90s. In fact, 91 out the door tomorrow at 6 a.m. 8 a.m. it's 96. By lunchtime, it's 110, and we peak at 117 for the high around 4. Kyrene.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. We do have some good news tonight about the crews battling fires near the Grand Canyon. Parts of the Kaibab National Forest north of State Route 89 will reopen on Friday. That includes the Jacob Lake campground that's been closed for about a month now. The north rim of the Grand Canyon will remain closed through the rest of this season. Tonight, the Dragon Bravo fire has burned over 126,000 acres and is just 13% contained. New tonight, a historic election for Arizona's largest unincorporated area. Santan Valley appears to be on its way to becoming a town.
The first unofficial results are coming in from Pinal County. So far, 66% of voters approve the proposition. If these results hold, Santan Valley will become Arizona's newest town. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live in Santan Valley for us tonight. And Chase, what happens next?
Well, Mark Rebe, I'll tell you, supporters of this have been wanting this to happen for years so they can keep their tax revenue here in what's expected to be their soon-to-be town and also have a voice in the future here of Santan Valley. As soon as the first unofficial results were released, people at Rural Metro Fire Station cheered, learning chances are unincorporated Santan Valley will turn into a town. Already, people living here know what changes they want.
I think we need to have a little bit more control of the planning and the zoning.
We can have the new buildings, the new facilities. There's too many houses, not enough good roads, and hopefully that's going to improve.
Also having a seat at the table when it comes to the future.
I am glad we are finally going to get a say.
We want leaders that live here, that understand what it's like to be in Santan Valley, and also are excited about the potential.
Right now, the Pinal County Board of Supervisors maintains Santan Valley, made up of more than 100,000 residents, from roads to law enforcement. District 2 Supervisor Mike Goodman, who was in support of incorporation, says that will stay the same for now.
We're not going to miss a beat.
The first step in getting this town started is County Board Supervisors hand-selecting the new Santan Valley Town Council.
He will be immediately coming right out of the gate.
From there, Goodman says they will also have to get a town attorney, clerk, and manager, as well as a building to hold their council meetings. They will also have a budget plan for the next fiscal year, because by July 1st, Goodman says town leadership will officially be in charge of roads and law enforcement.
Now, if they want to increase the amenities such as parks and pools and things like that, they're going to have to come up with a revenue source to do that.
Which is why thousands were against the proposition, not wanting additional government oversight and increased taxes. Goodman says since Santan Valley is a town, he anticipates it will receive about $60 to $70 million from state shared revenue to help get them started. And any other tax revenue introduced by the council, like a sales tax,
it would need to go to the voters for vote.
At the end of the day, Goodman and many others believe this is the direction Santan Valley needs to go, so the people living here can decide what they want and what's next.
It's important for us to take responsibility for the development in Santan Valley. We have issues that we have to address, and then also to plan for the future.
And as I mentioned, that changeover from county to the town, according to Goodman, will be July 1st of 2026. So again, right now, the Board of Supervisors are working on selecting the new town council, telling me they will be taking applications shortly. Tonight, we're in what's expected to be the soon-to-be town of Santan Valley. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thanks. The Kyrene School District is discussing a plan to shut down schools to address declining enrollment. The board held a study session tonight to learn more about what options are on the table, marking the first step in a process that will likely take several months. Officials laid out a tentative timeline to make those changes, hoping to come up with a proposal by September and then hold public meetings in October and November. The governing board wants to vote on a final plan sometime in December.
The suspect accused of murdering a pregnant teenager in a Phoenix park could face some new charges. Avondale police recommended charges including sexual exploitation of a minor against 36-year-old Jarrell Davis. Police say that he sent explicit images to a 17-year-old girl who already had an order of protection against him. The county attorney is reviewing those charges. Davis was already charged in the death of 16-year-old Zariah Dodd. Police say that he was the father of Dodd's unborn child.